One of the elements that is missing is, do you need an officiator for your marriage? Jack and Jill went up the hill, surrounded by friends and family. Do they have to appoint someone to officiate the marriage? Do they? Do they? No. The officiator is not a requirement. However, it is an important sunnah. It is an important sunnah, and critical things you don't take into your own hands. Can you buy a house without getting it checked out by experts? Can you? Yeah, it's your money. Yeah, and this is your life. But would you buy a house without getting it appraised and checked and so on? Why? In case there's issues with it, right? In case there's issues with it. But it's just a house. Worst case, inshallah, you'll make a lot more money, right? When you start the major franchising of your company, right? Once you take over. So, money comes and goes. But marriage has a lot of consequence. It's easy to do things wrong. So, having an officiator is an important sunnah. We see the Prophet ﷺ officiating the marriages of his companions. We see the companions officiating the marriages of those after them. It ensures that these elements are taken care of, but this is an aspect that is very important, that we shouldn't just have a token officiator, that someone random shows up and the key elements of the marriage they had no role in. That properly, a marriage officiator should be someone you engage with beforehand, so that you ensure that there's a well thought out marriage contract. Ideally, the marriage agreement and the elements of the marriage agreement, someone you've talked through with things, and they make sure the marriage is conducted soundly, properly. But also, one of the important sunnahs, and we're not looking at marriage itself, right? We're focusing on the contracts and agreements, but one of the important sunnahs of the nikah is the khutbah al-nikah, is that there be a khutbah of nikah that is given. And the difference between an embarrassing khutbah given by some randomly chosen person and a meaningful khutbah, not only for the couple, but also for those in attendance. I went to one of our local masajid here because someone from our family was getting married. And I wish I was taking notes, because it's such an amazing khutbah. It's one of the really impressive imams in our community. I was like, that's beautiful. So beautiful, right? And even one of the elders who was sitting on the stage afterwards, he said, Beta, I feel inspired as a husband. Because it was meaningful, right? There's a great wisdom in the khutbah al-nikah. So this is one of the aspects that one should not negotiate. One, to ensure that one goes through the process properly. But here at the level of community, and many of you here in attendance, but also who are online, are active in the community, this is where we need to specialize. That what is the duty of religious institutions in our community is to provide religious services. And one of the former presidents of one of the large Muslim organizations saying that religion is not preserved by playing basketball. Right? Religion is preserved through the preservation of the core religious functions. That the measure of a masjid, of course, it should welcome a lot of people and all this, but ultimately it's a place for prayer, for devotion. Right? The other critical services, how do we conduct our marriages, and how do we deal with the deaths of people? Even if people are disconnected from community, everybody, or much of our community gets married, all of us die. So how is that handled? During COVID, someone passed away at one of the masajid. I skirted out of leading the prayer, but then everyone walked away. No one was there to take the the coffin, the body, out of the masjid, except one old uncle. So there's this young guy, I think he was Egyptian. I said, could you help? He said, yes, Sheikh, but I'm wearing shorts. But they're like long shorts, shorts you could pray in. I said, that's fine. Then he put on his boots. I said, Sheikh, but I'm wearing colorful boots. Is it okay? I said, go ahead. Because colorful boots, but literally it was just myself, and I have a bad back, and this elderly gentleman, the whole family, though one of the important sunnahs related to death and burial is, actually the proper sunnah is we should be carrying the casket. But if we don't do that, at least follow the body. And these are easy things to set up. Right? Easy things to set up, to do them well. I've often seen disputes arise at nikahs. Because who is coordinating the nikah? Nobody. And of course, practically, especially in our times, with the officiator, you should have one unofficial role, is who is running your marriage? Who is running your marriage? Our family is good, especially the males in our family are good at getting nervous and stressed. So when my brother was getting married, I said, who's in charge of arrangements? He said, me and my fiance. I said, no. Because you're sitting on the stage. Who's going to make sure everything happens smoothly? He said, you are. I said, no, but I'm going to be on stage with you guys. And so you have to have someone in charge. So my sister stepped up and someone from the other side. But you know that, okay, so what if something dramatic happens? Who's ensuring that things are taken care of? The janitor of the masjid shows up and says, please, we are going to be closing in 10 minutes. Please finish. And he's not even started the ceremony. Right? Now, you can't get up from stage, right? And you want to also make it memorable. So having someone who's in charge of proceedings is an obvious thing, but especially when we don't have a lot of family, and if we don't have well-established processes for marriages taking place, it should be clear who's running things, because especially if you're getting married, you should be focused on your spiritual and personal readiness for what's taking place.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله